If you pick up and use this one little principle that I have for you in this episode, it will make you so much money, so much easier. And I know, that is a big, bold promise. And you're probably skeptical with me saying that, and you should be. There's nothing wrong with that. See, most coaches don't understand the actual fundamental principles that when it comes to being able to sell their services. If you're a great coach and you're good at what you do, because that's really important, then I want you to be able to use this little hidden principle that has helped me sell millions and millions in coaching over the last few years. See, it wasn't that long ago that I was sitting in a private mastermind in LA, filled with 7- and 8-figure entrepreneurs. And I was sitting next to this amazing human being, Kevin Hutto, that taught me this principle that I'm going to share with you today. And I am a believer that the proof is in the pudding, which is why I want to show you with me applying this with one of my business partners. We were able to add $100,000 plus an extra $35,000 recurring each month from within just the first 7 days of me coming in and using what I'm going to be sharing with you right now. Okay, so for this to work, I want you to think of a seesaw right now. This is where there's going to be two sides of it. There's going to be your prospect over here, and then there's going to be you over on this side of the seesaw. Now, really importantly, we need to understand what is it that's going to be stopping the prospect from buying, and what is it that you've got in your arsenal to actually be able to make the sale. So we'll say over on this side, there is them, and then over on this side, there is you. Now, what we've got on their side of the equation is going to be the lack of perceived trust over here. And then there's going to be the lack of perceived value that they have as well. So think about it right now. The reason why you don't buy something, the reason why your potential clients, your potential customers aren't buying from you is because they don't actually trust and they don't actually see the full value in which they're wanting to hand over the cash that you're asking for. But that's perfectly fine, because over on this side, what we have is you have what is called your selling ability. This is the way that in which you're going to be able to sell, whether it's you being able to actually talk to someone, whether it's the systems, whether it's the funnels, whether it's the copy, all of that stuff, the selling ability. But then there's also the offer stack, which is essentially how much value is it that you're actually being able to give. So to make this really concrete and easy to be able to apply, I want us to use a real life example. So let's think of your local personal trainer just down the road right now. Let's say your local personal trainer is wanting to sell a $20 ebook, $20 ebook right now. Okay, so the actual ability to sell a $20 ebook could say you might just build out a landing page, a sales page that simply has a checkout link on it. The actual offer stack could be, well, it's an ebook per se, so it's going to be somewhat, hopefully, some pretty good value, but essentially it's just a PDF, right? So we've got a PDF with some good value on there, and your selling ability, which is probably going to be something along the lines of you putting a social media post out and putting somebody on a sales page with a checkout link. Now, on the other side of this, for your wanting to sell a $20 ebook, you've got the actual trust. Do they trust you enough to be able to hand over just $20 for what it is that you're offering over here? And the actual perceived value, do they actually perceive value in what you're being able to give for a $20 ebook? But it goes a little bit further. So let's scrap that. Let's actually think that now we're going to be selling a $200 course. Your local personal trainer down the road is going to be selling a $200 course. So the offer stack, the course, well, there's going to be a lot more value compared to the ebook. There's going to be videos, there's going to be tutorials. There might even be nutrition guidelines, recipes, whatever it is that you think it is. The selling ability to sell a $200 course, well, they've got to step their game up now. Whether it's going to have to be more lead nurture, whether it's going to actually have to be better copy on the page, a better sales video, the actual selling ability's got to step up from $20 ebook to a $200 course. But on the them side, you've got to think about it. Well, do they trust you enough now to actually hand over what's going on with a $200 course? Do they actually see the value inside you wanting to be able to sell a $200 course with what's inside? This is where you can see the weight of what they're actually going to do with the value and with the trust could be weighing it down now, which means you need a better ability of selling and your offer to be able to bring it back into balance to be able to get that sale. But we're not playing a small game. Let's step it up a little bit more from here. Let's think about it right now. We want to sell a $2,000 course. Your local personal trainer just down the road wants to sell a $2,000 course. So the offer stack inside of this now we've got to really ramp it up. What's a $2,000 course got to have inside of it to be worth $2,000? Because over this side, they need to have that perceived value as to what's actually going on. And then think about it as well. Do they trust enough you to be able to have a $2,000 course sold? Are you able to ramp it up and to be able to increase the skills in your selling ability, your selling system, to be able to sell a $2,000 course at the end of the day? So you can see as we kind of like take each step up from a $20 ebook to a $200 program to a $2,000 course, there is going to be higher weight in the actual trust needed and for the value for them to perceive for you to be able to make a sale. So you've got to continue to step up your selling ability and what your actual offer is going to be to make that happen. Now let's go even one step further. I want you to stick with me right now. This is where the rubber meets the road. Let's say that your local personal trainer just down the road right now wants to sell a $20,000 experience. Okay, what does a local personal trainer have to do to sell a $20,000 experience? Let's think about the them side first. So the perceived trust right now, this is going to be heavy. They're going to have very high trust to be able to be willing to be able to fork out $20,000 for what this experience could entail. The value, they would have to see a lot of value inside of what would be in a $20,000 experience for them as well. So there's a lot of weight going on here. So when this local personal trainer, or you, have to think about it, your selling ability has to step up. What does somebody have to do to be able to sell a $20,000 experience over on this side? Well, they're probably going to have to be now doing a phone call. They're not trying to sell it through DMs. They're probably not trying to sell it through just a sales page. There's going to be a multifaceted approach. There's going to be emails, social media posts. There's going to be retargeting. There could be a bunch of stuff that's coming together, but essentially we know that the actual selling ability has really got to ramp it up right now. But the actual offer inside of it, what does a local personal trainer down the road actually have to sell to be something at $20,000? He's probably throwing absolutely everything at it, including his kitchen sink, and he might be going around even to scrub the floors as well to make sure that he can get that sale made. But the way that we think about this right now, and this is where it becomes really different. This is the principle that I want you to pick up right now, because I haven't shown you the principle yet. I've just shown you the baseline foundation to understand what's going on in the equation to be able to make a sale. The principle right now, the thing that we change to be able to make it so much easier, right, is something that we haven't covered right yet. But let's think about the example. So far that we've used is your local personal trainer down the road trying to be able to sell everything up to a $20,000 experience. But let's change the person. Let's say Arnie Schwarzenegger wants to sell a $20,000 experience. He could probably say, hey, I'm going to have a couple people around my place. We're going to do a quick workout and we'll sit down for an hour to have a chat, maybe have a scotch and then be able to call it a day. And then that's absolutely it. So his offer stack compared to what the actual personal trainer is trying to do is a lot less, right? He has to do a lot less. And the actual selling ability, well, let's be perfectly honest. I reckon Arnie could probably drop one tweet and be able to absolutely sell out of selling a $20,000 experience to be able to hang out with him for even half a day, let's say, okay? Because what's actually happening is the fulcrum, this right here, this is the authority fulcrum that we need to be able to fill in. This is the thing, because if we're able to change this over, then the seesaw can tip really easily. If we move the fulcrum in the right way, if you're able to build your authority, then your ability to sell is so much easier. You have to not jump so many crazy hoops to be able to get that to sell, because the perceived trust and the perceived value from what you're doing, because your authority goes up, this becomes so much less. So rather than you thinking that you have to absolutely throw everything in the kitchen sink to be able to get a sale, for you to be able to have the most masterful sales ability and sales systems installed, what if as well you are able to actually increase your authority to be able to move where the fulcrum is in this selling equation? That is the thing that's going to make your selling so much easier. That is the thing that's going to be able to make sure the sales come in, day out, and you can put your head on your pillow and sleep so beautifully because you know that you actually have the equation working in your favor. because you know what you have done by, yes, we need to be able to have good selling ability. We need to have a good offer. But the thing is, it is in adjacent to, it's knowing that once we move this fulcrum, once we increase the authority of you in the marketplace, this overcomes the perceived value, this overcomes the perceived trust issue that is ultimately stopping the sale from actually happening. So it's my hope that by me sharing this episode with you today, I really want you to be able to pick up and understand of, number one, just the actual principle of what's going on right now. And by understanding that we've got kind of this seesaw equation. And understanding, hey, we've got value and trust that's on them side that's stopping the sale. We've got selling ability and an offer stack over on your side to be able to increase the likelihood of a sale getting made. But really importantly as well, where is the fulcrum? Where is the authority fulcrum for you right now? And by you increasing yourself in the authority in the marketplace, it makes the equation so much easier. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, then I would love to make sure that you do, because I would hate for you to miss out on the amazing episodes to come, because I want to continue unpacking this. I want to continue helping and actually giving you the practical stuff that is best going to help you build the business that you want to. So as always, I appreciate your time and attention, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode.